Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Game Pass Grab Bag, your weekly podcast reviewing games for the Game Pass collection, bringing you two unique perspectives and varying skill range. I am the sixth of this episode, Andrew. With me are seven, Keith,
Hello.
and I apologize for probably the cringiest intro I've ever done. But this is a two-man episode. This week, me and Keith played Relic Hunters Legend. Or is it Relic Hunter Legend? Nope.
Legends?
Hunters is plural, but not legend. But yes, by Rogue Snail. Relic Hunter Legend is a top-down ARPG. We are playing one of 6 hunters, or legends, people, where you are going around and you are, in the near future, you are trying to hunt relics, but you are gathering loot, shooting evil ducks, and looting and grinding. And I don't know, that's honestly about the story, I guess. Well,
No. There's so much of it. I skipped all of it. I don't
was skipping a lot
want
of it too.
any of the amount. I don't want to say any. It's fine to have a story in this. You start out in a classroom, you're asleep, you leave the classroom, you wake up in this weird world, there's ducks, they try to shoot you, some people show up, and then you're all like, stepbrothers, do we just become best friends? And you do a bunch of missions, but the gameplay is fun. And that's honestly it.
I like you instantly were like, let me go on this tangent right now.
I got it. But that, I mean, is that not the story? You're trying to find this relic.
You're forgetting the other important part where your character apparently is mute, which
naturally. Why
also
would
is annoying. Hey, there's a giant 7 on this. Is your name 7? Your character's just like, oh, your name is now 7. And it's just like, okay, I guess I'm 7. All right. But anyway, let's get into this mamma jamma. I will start off whether or not this is a game or pass. So Keith picked this game because Keith.
I feel like that's always a preference. Preface.
Yep, it is. It is very important. Very important asterisk. Because Keith had a friend where he's like, "Hey man, I missed where we all played a game together because we played 33 Immortals, which was a great game." So he's like, "Man, what happened to those good old like multiplayer games you could just sit with a buddy and turn your brain off?" We saw this, and we're like, "Oh, this looks like that kind of game. You just top-down twin stick shooting and getting loot and upgrading your gear." So check this out, and you know what? I'm gonna give this barely a pass. It did by the end of it, I'm pretty done with this game. It's not bad. It's definitely a good buddy co-op game. It's fun to play with some friends. Did not like playing by myself. I quickly learned the first 15 minutes or so of this game is what I am doing for the rest of the game. Like, there's not a lot of mission variety. It's a lot of, hey, here's a story to do a mission that you've already done dozens of times. So I was like, okay, this is getting a little old. It's not awful. Like I said, but I think if you're looking for another buddy multiplayer game, I think you have better options on Game Pass. But it's, as Keith I'm sure will say, it's also pretty decent for younger people. But yeah, I'll give it a barely pass.
Yeah, I didn't end up loving everything about it by the end, but I immediately thought, hey, this is really cool, and I was really into it, and I still do like it, and I'm gonna land on a game still, because I don't fully agree with the variety. I actually think it pulls a lot of different game modes from like weird games that you wouldn't expect. Like the payload option wasn't something I kind of expected to be in there, but
no game has that.
No, they do, but not this style of game. It's typically a PvP style thing. It's not like a PvE weird top-down indie game is all I'm saying. It's just, it wasn't what I expected in this genre per se. And I think that overall there's probably 6-7 different mission types, and actually I found more of, at least like 1 or 2 more after you and I played, that I did. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing, but I do think it's fun, and if you do have people to play with, it's going to be more fun than anything. But even single player, I kind of liked the weapon variety and all that. The story missions are so annoying, and there's too many of them. That is
Yes.
definitely a gripe. I just want it to be a lot more of like, hey, just go out and explore the maps and rerun missions over and grind for cooler loot and do that over again. Because at the end of the day, is that not Diablo? Is that not a lot of these games? I'm fine with it being the same thing, grinding over and over again, just trying to get that exclusive loot and all of those things. And that's what the heart of the gameplay is here. But they really, really tried to lean in on the story, and they just overdo the heck out of it. Is really my biggest gripe.
Yeah, but grind for what loot? Like, the loot was very confusing.
What was confusing about it? It's you
What
have
what
a
color's better? I the color didn't make any sense. Like usually the game, you got like green, blue, purple, gold, or red or something like that. In this, you had like pink, red, gold, green. Yeah, you had exotic, set, legendary, and then I think there was another one. And I'm like, all of them like sound top tier. So I'm like, well, which one's better?
So it was. I mean, if you kind of look at it, and not to like be like, well, if you did, but it actually is pretty straightforward, and I think it's kind of cool how they do it. So it's broken into 5 tiers, and you have each tier has like a common level item, and that's what you get your traditional gray, green, blue, purple, well, and I think it stops at purple there. And then you have these 3 other classifications of items, which you probably are familiar with other ARPGs. You have set items. The augmented is kind of unique, where it's like has some special skill that you can unlock on the gear, and then you have um, the exotics and the legendaries between them. So the exotics, the red, those are unique. You can't upgrade to a red weapon. You will only get a unique version of that. The yellow, purple, and like or like sorry, the yellow, which is the exotic, the pink, which is the augmented, and then the light green, which is the set item. You can turn any common item into that, but amongst the tier that it's in. 1 through 5. I know I said, oh, it's simple, and then I just made it super
Yeah, I
confusing.
know. I played the
But
game, but I'm
but
still like, I don't
pull
know.
up
You
we'll
lost me.
pull up a screenshot of the chart though, and I think it makes a lot more sense. I'm explaining a visual without the visual here, and I know not everyone's going to be watching this, but if you are, you can see it. It's I like I said, I don't think it's the easiest thing. I'm not saying like, oh, it's simple, but I felt like I figured it out though. I guess is what I'm saying.
I maybe I don't know. It's just to me there was a lot of loot in this game, and it was getting a lot. It was getting me a bit of an overload of like what is this? What is that? But we'll get more into that with the gameplay. But I want to start off as Keith already started tanging, doing a little tangent of, is the story. So yes, Keith said you start as a character in a classroom, and you are sleeping, and you're just like, I'm gonna leave, and you leave, and all of a sudden you're in a desert, in the future, and there's talking ducks, talking donkeys. Evil ducks are bringing down the worlds, and they run the world, and you are trying to get loot and hunt relics. But I feel like relics are kind of a thing that are forgotten. I don't know what's the significance of relics in this game. I know it's another type of loot you can get, but like the fact that the game's called Relic Hunters, there was never we need to find relics. They said to like uncover the past, but
Well,
who
it's all about
cares?
it. It starts to go into time travel too. Because did you unlock the different eras?
Yes.
So yeah, so that's like it starts to go into like time travel, and I have no idea. I truly don't know what's going on. Now, this is, I say, without paying any attention to the story missions. I skipped all the dialogue and I played the mission parts. So that's part of it.
I mean, I tried listening to a good amount of the story, and it was really just boring me. The characters really weren't that interesting. So there's the talking donkey Ace. This is one part of the story that just made no sense. Of like you're chasing, like your teammates get captured, and your character touches a thing, and you travel back in time with Ace, and Ace is just like, "You're a time traveler. you're a traitor, I hate you, you lied to me, and then like runs off, and I'm like, that was a massive overreaction. Like, what is this story? And then you find him drunk on carrot juice, and it's like, what is this going on here? It also irritates me that you're a character that doesn't talk. Um, which I can't stand games that
Is
have
there
a silent
some lore
protagonist.
though about why time travelers are bad? Because
Not that I learned.
like, do the Dukins time
No,
travel?
he
Is
was
that why?
just
It's
more annoyed with you because he's like, we're here in the past. We need to go and save our friends. What are we doing here?
it's weird. I'm not saying I'm justifying it by any means. I'm just trying to wonder like if there's some of the lore that I just didn't understand.
I don't know. But that's the thing too of like then okay, so maybe character stories are interesting. Nah, didn't care for those either. As Keith said, yeah, every time you get a character, you get their character specific missions. Um, Jimmy's was probably the crappiest. He's like the greatest shot, and all you find out is that someone's trying to trick him, and so he gets captured, and then he's just like, well, I'm too good. I don't get captured. All right, that's his story. That's his backstory, and it's like, okay, what is this? What is any of this? What is going on? What is the point of any of this? Uh, and like when you look at this game too, even when you see the trailer, it says Cartoon Network talent for art. They didn't say what specific cartoon, but apparently whoever's doing the art worked on some sort of Cartoon Network cartoon, in which I can kind of see it. It kind of looks like a Saturday morning cartoon, but it's just you think it would be an easier story that a child could follow, and I just know the bad guy's name is Duncan, and he's a duck, and the ducks you're shooting are clones, and that's it. I don't exactly know how the ducks are evil. Because that's the thing, they're always like, we're rebels and the government's oppressing us. How?
I
Like,
mean, the
what?
Ducks have taken over somehow. That's I don't know
Yeah.
how. I can't answer that question, but I at least felt like I gathered that much because there's the musician backstory
Yeah,
and the
which they
Ducks
don't
coming
like
in.
music. So,
Yeah, they come in and they shut down the music, but yeah, it doesn't tell me much.
yeah.
It just it basically the Ducks just seem like they don't like to have any fun, and everyone else is like, hey, we like fun.
Yep. Which I gotta
Uh,
say, though, well at least positive. I love that the enemies are ducks. When's the last time you shot ducks? You know, you shot plenty of Nazis, Russians, whatever. But when's the last time you shot at just a whole bunch of evil ducks?
it has been quite some time. I mean, I don't know about Evil Ducks, but I was gonna say like Duck Hunter back on yeah on yes.
Wow. Well, okay, I guess ducks that shoot back at you. Was the last time? But that good kudos to Yuki that you even thought of something like that.
I mean, the dog laughed at you in that, but there's no one shooting back. No, I can't remember any ducks shooting back at me.
Yeah. So already off the bat, do not be playing this game for the story because I I played what 5 hours and I'm couldn't really tell you much what's going on. But yeah, the gameplay, as Keith said, it's a top-down kind of twin-stick shooter, or if you play like Keith, apparently there's an option where it can auto-aim. So all you have to do is just hold the trigger. I do not play like that because I'm an adult, and I like to play games like real. But yeah, you at least have that option. But yeah, you're going around. The interface in this game sucks. You're essentially selecting parts of a map which bring you to an objective. You're either escorting a payload, stopping enemies from destroying chests, or you're doing a distraction mission which all is just shooting a bunch of enemies. Or you go to another map where you shoot a bunch of enemies.
There's the control points.
Oh, control points. There you go. That's another original one.
There's another one I got where you collect orbs and then you have to go bring them to like a collection point. There's that one.
Ooh, that's new. That's original.
Yeah. So I don't like I said, and I don't know. I don't entirely hate it because I know you've already complained about the loot system in here, but the core of a game like this is rinse and repeat. I am not comparing it and saying that this is on Destiny level, and I think there's probably even some memes and me even using Destiny as a good example in this, but Destiny is a game of rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Diablo is a game of rinse and repeat. You could make the same argument that like, oh, it's not really fun because I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. I just went and killed Baal 10 times and I didn't get the thing I wanted. Like, sure, but so that's what I'm doing here. It condenses it down on a pretty simplified level, not in a way that makes me go, man, I love this, but still, I think the gameplay holds up, and
Nope.
that
See,
right.
I'm gonna argue with you because this game puts a wall with the whole feat system, and that irritated me. So the feat system, FEAT, not FEET, you are doing objectives, but it's very convoluted. It's a whole nother tab, and it constantly says, "Oh, go collect your feats." But there's no auto click button. Like I don't care. Like why do I have to open a menu, hold A to collect feat, to level up your rebel account, your rebel level. So each character you level up on their own, which is capped at 10 until you upgrade your rebel account. And the same with the gear. The gear, as Keith said, are tiers: tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And obviously, like, a crappy tier 2 is way better than the best tier 1 kind of thing. But there's so many things going on, so many resources, so many achievements, these feats. It was just getting too much for me. Like, it was just kind of frustrating.
I won't argue that there's definitely a lot of different systems for what's going on, and that is a drawback here. But I still think that, like, I don't know, the outside of the nice quality of life of having like a collect all feature, I liked the feat system in general, like as an idea. I didn't
Yeah,
like
and
its
that's an idea.
execution.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't care for its execution and the fact that you had to accept them all. And also too, I found the quickest way to level them up is making sure you go and do all of those stupid character side missions. And the thing is, it's a side mission. It shouldn't feel like I need to do it in order to progress. And that kind of does have that feeling in this because of the fact that if you don't, you're not really leveling up your account, you're not leveling up your characters, and like I'm at a point right now, and this is my biggest gripe with it is that it's kind of too easy. It's a game where it throws the loot at you too quickly,
Yeah.
and because so what it does is that rather than being individually level capped, it's capped at different tiers. So it's like level 6, level 17, and then once you hit 6 or 17, you can unlock everything of that tier. So you get the red item in that tier. You're good until you get level 17. And then you can actually upgrade the tier of that item, which kind of nice because you can keep your items with you. But all it said, it's like, well, I got all my gear at level 2 and now I'm pretty set. So it has this gear score. I just beat something that has like a gear score of 390 that it wanted me to have, like 301. You know, a lot of games will let you do that, but I didn't struggle at all. It was just all I had to do was just not run into a fight. As long as I stayed back, I could kill everything from afar.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that also I have a big complaint with are the characters. Like each character it's supposed to be like a kind of a hero shooter. So each character has their own set of skills, their unique abilities and everything like that. Honestly, couldn't care about a single one. None of their kits were that interesting. They all are shooting guns, but like this person hops instead of dashes. This person smashes the ground instead of regular punch. None of it felt that good. None of it felt very unique.
I think it would have felt better the more you played with different characters, and I don't think it would have been like vastly different. Don't get me wrong, but I think if you're like right now we're watching you play and everyone's the same character, and when you're playing solo, to go between them, yeah, because you're really just relying on your guns. You still mostly do, even playing in a party too, I guess. But I feel like having someone who can heal and do things like that, it makes it feel a little more dynamic when people are actually doing that. It's just not necessary because
But like
again,
everyone can heal. So there's not really a person who's like the healer.
but can everyone heal in groups versus like the musician who kind of has like the Lucio thing going on?
Yeah, Seven, whenever he freezes people, the frozen people like send out a healing wave.
Okay. I don't know. I truthfully didn't pay much attention. I liked the little costume one, who I think is like a little kid. Which also I think everyone's kind of supposed to be kids. And I don't know, but yeah, I was playing the little costume character because I just like that they bounce on everyone's head Mario style, and that was just kind of fun. I liked the hop. It was basically always applicable. Like there was just never a place I couldn't get to, so I could always get chests.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's fine, but yeah, like I said, it never felt like, oh, Keith, you need to play this character. He's the healer. You need to do this. I
No,
don't know.
I
To
agree.
me, in the end, it literally just felt like just play whatever you want, which is weird. I am curious. We didn't obviously get to the end game, which in the trailer, this game does boast quite a bit. Like, hey, we have an extensive end game, which I question. I have a feeling you're still doing the same type of objective maps, but they do talk about a lot about how important combos are. As you're seeing on my screen, there are points you're getting, and it is showing more damage. Like you can do things of like, oh, free somebody, and I think they take extra impact damage. But just I don't know, nothing really felt like, oh, this character works really well with this character. We need to play him as a team. I don't know. It all just felt like run around and just shoot people with whatever gun you got.
I do wonder. Well, I mean, I assume it stays four player no matter what, but I do wonder if it gets a little bit like raid style, where you get some of these like big, just probably just bullet sponges more than anything. But like just watching or seeing how some of it develops out, like because you get those maps, which so one of the and I use this loosely because I know you'll get mad when I say this. One of the other game modes is
Furious.
they have is like exploration, and it's just an open map. There's a
Oh,
bunch of
those were
treasure chests around.
tedious.
They were, yeah, and like I said, I'm using the term very very loosely when I say game mode for it. They had these maps, I should say, that were just exploration maps, a bunch of treasure chests hidden around them. That was your
Yeah.
your goal.
Explore.
So then they have the treasure maps, which are the same thing but just with higher. They all have, but it's this like. Did you do any of these, Andrew?
The treasure
Like,
maps?
yeah. So you get
No, I don't
these
think so.
you get keys, which is just another another currency for you that you have.
Add it to the
Um,
pile.
Yep, and you can upgrade those keys
Oh, okay.
with some of the other currencies you're getting,
My
believe it or
gosh.
not. Um, so you get these keys, but yeah, there's always like one treasure chest, and it has a high likelihood of think of them like the in Diablo what were what was it that we would run? Just repeat the
Riffs?
yeah, the rifts or something like along those lines, and you get things that would give you better maps to go to, get better treasures. And so like there's that whole dynamic. And then as you go through the eras, like that's where you go into hard mode, and then like I didn't touch the third tier of them. So there is more to it, but those just look to be the same maps kind of repainted, and everything gets a little harder because I do like the dynamic on starting on the hard maps. It starts to have basically every map is timed. So like if you're doing the payloads, if you're not progressing it, there's a little purple bar that's growing up the whole time that eventually you run out of time. I don't know what it does at the third tier, if like maybe you have like a death limit, maybe like okay, you can only die to me, twice or something. But in theory, with the time thing, you can, because if everyone dies, it gives you like a 1 minute penalty. Which playing solo, if you die, it's everyone.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, man, just you talking like it's weird talking about this. Literally, when you think about it, everything a lot about this game feels like a free to pay live service game. The amount of resources you get, the fashion tokens, so you can get new cosmetics, upgrading tiers of things. Like everything does sound like a microtransaction kind of game because there is a ton of just different resources, and it just a lot. It was just frustrating me. I know this isn't the first game to do it, but I don't know. It seemed at odd ends with each other of like this feels like it's kind of meant to be more approachable for younger people. But like
Yeah.
okay, so like
Well,
I'm at
there's
like tier 2 stuff, and once like the gear score doesn't go up much. 20. When you get a green tier 2 thing, it's a gear score 20. And like this is what I mean about like the loot of like it didn't feel like it had much variety. Anything tier 2 like I just got rid of. I had all legendary tier 2 stuff. So anything below it, it's like, well, I guess I might as well just get rid of it, which I do appreciate. This game does have an auto disassemble or auto sell stuff, and that was actually kind of convenient.
Yeah, it's nice quality of life. Yeah, like on the very first level, I got an exotic, the yellow of the potion, and that carried me all the way until I hit tier 2 items.
Yeah.
Because tier 0 and there's a tier 0 and there's a tier 1, and I mean, it's almost at that point like don't even bother with a tier 0 because
Yep.
they give you both immediately. So that's kind of silly, I will say. But there really is a noticeable difference when you jump up between tiers, at
Oh
least.
yeah.
And the biggest thing really, and it even it says it in one of like the tooltips on the load screens, but it's really all about the rolls, which not a mystery to this style of game. That's what you're looking for, is to get the best rolls on your items. And that's the biggest thing that the tiers do, whether it's the common items all the way up to all those. Which, if you want my opinion, I think the actual, and because I think it lays them out this way, but I think the power kind of level is augmented, set, and then the legendary, and then exotic within
But you don't
each
know.
tier. I don't, but based on the number of rolls you have for each item. So an augmented has the least number of them, but you have that one that you can unlock, which is powerful, but it's only one. The sets usually have the same amount as the augmented, but are going to have bonuses based on the other set items you have, which are going to give you more. And then the exotics just outright have a whole bunch of them. So I think that's sort of your tiering of what you're looking at. All of them can be good in their own right, and so they're kind of on the same level. But I think it's exotic, which is yellow, and then legendary is kind of the like best two, so to speak.
Yeah. I don't know.
But you know, it's another thing I don't understand at all. The sign. You create your character. They give
Oh
you this weird
yeah.
personality test, which you can skip, I think. But you do this weird little personality test thing, and they're like, "Here's your sign. Does that sound right?" And you're like, "I don't know. I have no idea what any of the signs are."
Yeah.
No,
I
no.
got star. Like
Let
it's
me
just like
let me start
okay.
with when it comes to in real life. I know nothing about signs and all of that. Then you make up a whole different system for it inside of a video game. Assign me one of them and say, "Does that sound right?" How am I supposed to answer that question? So I said yes, and then it goes, "Wow, that's really rare." And then I never saw anything that it did ever again.
Yep. I got yeah. Yours was void. I think I got star, and it's just
Mhm.
like, yeah, you're a leader or something, and it's like okay. Does it do anything? Because that's the thing too. At the beginning, they're like, oh, what's your gender? So that's the thing too. Where I'm like, oh, okay, it's gonna be like a random kind of character generator. Nah, you're
Each
still playing the
character
same
has a sign,
character.
by the way. It shows you
Yeah,
their sign. I don't know what it
don't know what it
does.
does, but you got it. So congrats.
So even more so, you create your character 7, get your sign, and then you never play with them again. Maybe, or you do. I don't know. I didn't.
I didn't either. That's
So
what I mean. This game
what is
definitely
their
just
sign relevant for?
this game. I feel like just has too much going on.
But you know what I think that is? That's a product of they've really wanted something about this story. Like they really tried to pour emotion into the characters that I just could not feel. But it is something that I think people do connect with though. And I don't want to say weird like in a bad way, but it's weird because one of the cool things that I do like about it is that I think overall the art style is pretty cool. I think it's fun. Unique enough. It doesn't have what Aaron would complain about is like that kind of pixely indie, but it's very you can tell it's indie just looking at it,
Yeah.
and I can appreciate that. But I like that it has this whole art section within the game where they recognize people who are fans of the games submit art and
Yeah, that's
they'll
very
just put
cool.
I just really like when games will recognize their community and appreciate their community for what it is. And people pour a lot of love into those things. I was looking through them like, I would never do that, but like I don't get where the connection is that would make someone feel so connected to these characters and to this game. But at the same time, like good for them, and I like that the game appreciates that or
Yeah,
recognizes it.
it is cool to have like a real world art gallery in this game. But man, well, that's the other thing. The hub world in this game is also kind of bonkers.
Makes no sense
Yeah, it like because then you're
because there's
getting
multiple hub
factions.
worlds.
Yeah, oh, that's true too. But yeah, then there's these factions and you're picking up missions for, and it's just there's just so much going on with this game. A lot of it was just getting very confusing. So this was, and you obviously said that gameplay is really what hooks you. To me, like it was fun shooting ducks and whatnot. Like I enjoyed a boss fight here and there. Some of the loot was kind of nice, but I never felt a huge jump in the loot. So to me, it's just I just felt like there's too many systems going on. But yeah, but you at least started talking about the art style. I will say it is something very cool. Like I said, you're fighting ducks and evil turtles. It definitely really does feel like a Saturday morning cartoon, which also makes me sad because kids these days probably have no idea what a Saturday morning cartoon is now that everything's just streaming. But I really liked the art style of this game. I just wish the story made more sense with it, but hey, at least it looks cool.
Yeah, there is definitely something about those ducks that like they have a very DuckTales feel about
Yeah.
them without feeling like they ripped off DuckTales, if that makes sense. But it is just like a really fun design, and there I don't know I like we kind of started talking about there's like an openness to like younger generations, and it's weird to say because I like not in a like kids these days type of way, but I also feel like they're the openness to I don't know what kids play. Like I don't know, it's hard to compare now. Like younger kids are playing games that we didn't maybe play when we were younger, and I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just it's the way things are now. But I think that yes, there is because I joked about it in our Discord, but I put the controller in the hands of my 3 year old because it's easy enough, especially when you put it on like the first level. But there's nothing about this game that I was like, oh man, he can't see that. It's just a bunch of flashing lights and then ducks, and he was having a crack up time. The only thing I wish is that there was a like actual couch co-op, and unless I missed it,
Yeah.
that's
No,
what this
I'm pretty sure there
lacks.
wasn't.
It's 100% online co-op, which is nice. I like having online co-op, but I would like to have both because this would be a fun game to sit down and put a controller in both of our hands and actually have us both play because he
Yeah.
actually has the capabilities to do the 2 or 3 buttons that he needs to push because all he really needs to do is move the character around at the end of the day.
Yeah, because the character kits aren't that interesting.
No, like none of the things that were in there. I was like, "Hey, look, you can do this," and he would get a kick out of it. That like, oh, the screen would flash differently, and something would happen, but none of it mattered. So I was like, "Yeah, push any button you want, jump off." Because another thing too, when you're playing on these easy missions, like if you want to play with a younger crowd or whatever, there's no penalties for anything. You can't fail. It's
That's true.
just it just keeps going on. Like, yeah, you get to the harder difficulties and it gives you some time limits or whatever, but I don't know, for a solid 5 minutes, he just sat and ran off the cliff and he laughed hysterically about it. Didn't bother me in the least.
Oh man, but another kind of complaint I have: the audio. This game does that weird thing where it's partial voice acted, partial not. You get a lot of like one word, maybe words of like, "Hey, oh, interesting," but like sometimes, but then sometimes it was voice acted. But once again, though, what's the point when the story wasn't that interesting?
The few actual conversations that are recorded, though, were actually pretty good from a voice acting level.
Yeah,
I don't think the actual conversation, so sorry, writers, you didn't do a great job, I don't think. But the voice actors did a pretty good job. Hopefully, they were the same people, so I can at least credit them for while I insult them. Um, but yeah, I thought the dialogue that was there was good, but I agree. It bothered the heck out of me because mostly it all happened in story missions that I was not paying any attention to. So I heard like 2 conversations.
man. I wanted to look up the Raph voice actor sounded very familiar, but Apparently, this game's not on IMDb. Man, I feel like I've actually been knocking myself down more on this game, which is odd. Like I said, this was a barely pass. I still had fun mindlessly blasting people with my buddies, but playing solo, I was quickly like, nah, I think I'm good. Yeah, as far as the achievements go, it's okay for achievement hunters. They're pretty relatively easy. They're tied to the feats that you got to do. So if you're kind of doing that and progress the story, you're going to get a good amount of achievements. But yeah, achievements were fine. Really nothing to write home about. Let's get to our final thoughts, Keith. Making this a short episode, unless you got more to add.
No, but I guess noteworthy because I was trying to look this up on IMDb as well. There was another game, and it actually was originally a mobile game. I think it was a Netflix mobile game. Relic Hunters Rebels. It's all the same characters, and it just has the
So this is
Netflix
a
logo on the top
sequel?
left. In a sense. But yeah, Pinky, Jimmy, Raph, and Ace must fight their enemies, get items, craft and collect different weapons, and unravel a story about rival tribes that must overcome their differences to defeat the evil. It says Duncan Empire. I thought it was Dukin. It's the Ducks.
You know, it makes sense to be. No, the bad guy's name was Dukin, I think. Actually, no, I think you're right. Yeah, they were called Dukins.
Yeah.
The few voice acting scenes they said that. Man, so yeah, this was a Netflix app, 2022.
I don't know if that makes any difference to anything, but it's just I was trying I pulled it up on my phone. I was curious. And no, I don't really have much to add.
All right, so let's get to our final thoughts here. Relic Hunter Legends. For me, as I said, this was barely a pass. I did not care for it playing too much by myself. It's still a pretty decent time if you've got some buddies to play with. I found kind of a lot of things were just overly complicated. The menu, the loot system, which now that we learned that this was previously a mobile game, some of this kind of makes sense of the factions doing these daily quests. Like, because I said, I was like, this feels like it was meant to be a live service kind of, repeat your progress, maybe even monetization, but not in this game, though. As far as I saw, there's no monetization. But yeah, overall, it's okay to play with your friends. Like I said, I think you probably have some better choices. Story was really that uninteresting. The characters didn't really feel that fun to play with. If you're just looking for, I guess, a pretty tedious twin stick shooter, it does the job. Yeah, so for me, this lands at a 75.
It's funny because I'm still definitely in the game range of this, but I have a lot of. They're not even gripes. It's just kind of like, it's not great. It's just very, very fine at what it does, really on all levels. And I really, my only real gripe is how much it wants to shove its story in your face. In a game like this, like
you can skip it.
You absolutely can. But even Diablo doesn't have as many story missions that I felt required to do.
That's a good point.
And that is a very interesting, deep lore that goes back 20 plus years in terms of the games. Like, there's so much more reason to be involved in the lore in that, and there's less going on than what is happening in this game. And that is, and that's, I don't want to say criminal, but it really is. It's like, why am I spending so much time feeling like every target I should do? I would have liked more fetch quests. I would have liked more, hey, go try to find this enemy, kill 10 of this enemy, collect this thing that is just a random collectible that isn't really something you'll use other than for this mission from this enemy. Make me do a bunch of that type of crap, but by just replaying missions, but don't send me there to have a bunch of annoying dialogue, weakened enemies because it's a story mission, and I feel like I have to do it to get those feat levels to make the game more fun play. That's really the biggest fault of this, and it's where it takes what could have been a very fun, simplified ARPG to a for me. At least within the genre. But it's still a fun game. The gameplay is still fun, and you can skip all the dialogue and zip through a lot of those. I got myself, I think, like up to a level 8 or so on the feat level super quick by just blowing through the story missions without paying any attention to them. So it's not a great way to play it. It doesn't make it better, but at the very least, I can get through it quickly, and I feel like I'm getting to a point where some of the hard stuff is coming. So I'm probably going to keep playing this because this is the type of nonsense that just hooks me, whether it's good or not. It just, the replayability has its hooks in me. So the funny thing about all that is I feel like I still like it more than you, and I was going to land on a 73, and I'm going to do it anyways just because that's like what I had.
But did the guns even feel different to you? Like, that's the thing too. Like,
truthfully, but mostly because I stuck to all the legendaries, the red ones.
A gun felt stronger, but never that unique. A machine gun felt like a machine gun.
Not unique in the aspect that I was like, oh man, I have to use this gun because I'm fighting this enemy or I'm doing this type of thing. By no means. But with the different, like I had that little like fish explosive shooter. I had one that was shooting skulls that would had homing capabilities. Like one that just like increased its crit, like even if like for every crit it didn't hit until it hit 100. Like it just little things like that.
Yeah, you definitely had more interesting guns than me.
Yeah, and even the legendary, then on the items, they have like different procs where it's like, oh, if you get hit, it will do this thing, or you start to get the ones that it's like, oh, it upgrades all the skills in this tree, so then you can start to use your skill tree to, kind of tone out your character. I just wish it mattered more, and that's part of the reason I think I want to keep playing. Is I'm like I just want to see if the difficulty really ramps up enough or any of this matters, because if it does, it's really cool. I think the biggest thing that's going to be lacking beyond all that we didn't talk about is the amount of people playing it. Like you were showing a bunch of clips of people playing it with you. I kept my public open and nobody was joining with me. I don't think there's a ton of people playing this. Like, you have to have friends that will play it if you want to play it in groups at the higher levels, I think. Definitely. It's kind of sad. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I still stand by my 73, even though I like this game more than you. It's just the way we rate games. They don't make sense.
Nope. So we've been doing this podcast all these years.
6 years, nothing's changed.
All right, everyone. I think that's going to do it for us this week. Please make sure you go to GamePassGrandbag.com. Check out our nice, fancy website. Top right corner, you'll find the link to our Discord and our YouTube. You can see some of the streams I've been doing. But yeah, I've been your hardcore gamer host, Andrew. You can find me on Xbox Live at Fireburn0952. And yeah, I don't know, make sure you say hi to us. Give us some game recommendations. Follow us on our YouTube. Help us out. Thanks.
No, you know what? I'm gonna say something this time. Because I don't think you've ever said it. I was just gonna say thanks to John on our Spotify. John comments all the time. He's just nicest things. It's always nice. It always makes me smile. So thanks, John. I like your comments.
Well, I like everyone's comments.
Well, that too, but he's just made a bunch in like the last month or two. And they're all real nice.
Yeah, he's a swell guy. All right, everyone. Love you all. See you again next week.
Bye.